So today I thought I would show you guys my solar setup. So before we go any farther, let me just make clear that I did the setup myself. I did not build the solar panels myself. I did not construct the batteries from scratch. I know there's people that have done that, and I'm sure it's a little bit cheaper, but for the amount of time it would take, I was happy to pay a little extra to get the pre-assembled solar panels. So the DIY is actually the setup itself. I was able to do that without an electrician because of the type of solar it is. It's super easy to do yourself. So I am in the woods, which as we all know is the absolute best place to be if you want to be on solar. What? Oh, I've just been informed that being in the woods is actually not the best place to be if you want to be on solar. But even though I'm in the woods, I really wanted to be on solar. So, just come out of the woods here a little bit and head up the hill, and there's a nice sunny spot here for me to put my panels. And then I just have this cable that runs from the panels, and that just goes all the way up through the woods there, and then it plugs into my batteries inside. So with this cable, you do lose a little bit of wattage running from the panels to the batteries inside because the cable, I don't know, it's like 90-100 feet or something in order to reach the batteries inside and still have the panels in the nice lovely sunshine. However, losing a little bit with the cable is worth it because having the panels in the shade, you lose a lot more. They do still work in the shade because they still get spotty sunshine, but it's really not very good. So it's actually much better to have the panels over here in the sunshine on the hill and then lose a little bit of wattage with the cable going to the batteries. So I actually lose less if I do it this way and I get more solar off my panels. And then because it is so far away, I had to connect several cords together, so where the connections were, I did electrical tape on all of them. I don't know if you actually have to do this. I just did it to be safe because I didn't want water getting in there and rusting out my connections. So electrical taped all the connections just to keep it safe. So right now I have three 50-watt panels. That's a 50-watt single, and that is a 50-watt briefcase. And the cool thing about the briefcase is it's got these little hinges right here, so you can just fold it in half, and then you can just carry it around with the little handle. That's why these panels are actually really popular with like vanlifers and campers, stuff like that, because they're lightweight, they're easy to carry and pack up, so they're popular with that. I just like them because they're small enough for me to move around, and they do a pretty good job of bringing in the sunshine. And they're super easy to use. They've all got a little cord that comes out of them, and they got the connectors here, and if you're close to your batteries, you can just plug these right into the batteries. If you're like me and you're far away from your sunny spot, then you need the extra length cable to run it so you can keep your panels in the sun. And so I got these from a company called Goal Zero. I'll put links in the description if you're interested in looking them up. So I'm told that they might be a little more expensive than some of the other solar companies, but I know somebody who got some solar gear from a different solar company, and now their solar gear is no longer working and mine still works, so I'm happy to pay, you know, a little bit extra in order for a quality product because it'll actually save money in the long run if you don't have to replace it. And so the really nice thing about this type of solar is that you can build slowly. You don't have to go solar all at once. You can still be on electricity and just slowly make your way off to solar. In my case, I didn't have enough money to put in a full solar system initially, so I started with just one panel and one battery, and then eventually got another battery and the double panels, and eventually, so I'm up to 3, and eventually I'd like to get a couple more solar panels. This does work, but I'd like to get a couple more just so my stuff charges a little faster, all my batteries. But for now, I've got 150 watts worth of solar panels, and you know, as long as I'm a little bit careful, it usually charges everything up that I used the night before. So, and right now it's of course bright and sunny out here, but these things also work in on the cloudy days. These are not like the solar panels from the 70s where you need constant sun all the time. Because I'm in upstate New York, and in the winter we have a lot of really not sunny days, and these things will still suck in watts. You lose, I don't know, it's like a little less than half is what it'll pull in on a cloudy day, but it's still pretty good. I mean, it'll just keep on pulling in, and usually in the morning anyway, even if it's going to be a cloudy day, there's usually some sunshine in the morning that will charge them up a little faster, and then it'll just keep trickling in even on a cloudy day. And so the double panel is connected by a cord into the back of the single panel. That's right here, that just goes from the double panel. It connects right into the single panel. And then on the other side of the single panel here, this cord is the one that comes out and that goes along, runs through the woods here to my batteries. And again, super easy, you know, I mean, a kid can do this. They just, they unplug that, and then they just plug back in like that, and then you've got all three of the panels working for you. And then of course you can connect even more, which I will be doing at some point. So back over here in the nice shady woods, this is where the cord comes up, and then it just goes up under the siding there. And so then that just comes in through a hole, kind of like they used to do for the old analog TV antennas. Everybody still got one of those, right? And so then I just run it under the carpets and stuff, and it just comes right up and plugs into my battery box. And I just changed boxes so you can see the input going up, 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 because I just plugged in to that one. So I currently have 3 batteries. I keep these in my storage closet. You see my tools down there and my awesome Star Wars wallpaper behind that. And that way I don't have to look at the batteries like out in the main area, because, you know, I mean, they're not ugly, but they're not the most attractive things you want to look at with all the cords coming out of them and stuff like that. So I keep them in the back closet, and I don't have to look at them, but they're always there, and they're all hooked up so I can use them. And so the way I hooked them up is I've just got extension cords, and they run out along, and they go under the carpets and along the edges of the walls. And I got tapestries all along the walls, so it makes it really easy to hide the cords at the bottom here. And so they just run all along everywhere, and then there's the outlets, and I can just plug in anything anytime I want. And you know, the lights, they just stay plugged in, and they're mostly hidden by the tapestries. Hello there. And then of course I'm in total control of the electric. You know, when I want it on, just click it on like that. It's doing the output, and I can just click it off. And then the whole thing is off. There's no electric going to the extension cord, so I don't have to worry about fires or anything. It's just totally off. And when I want the lights on, I can just click it on, and then click on the lights. And alone, the box takes about 7 watts to run, so I usually leave it off unless I'm actually using the lights. So this one is the Goal Zero Yeti 400. 400 stands for 400 watts. So that'll last quite a while, because most of the stuff I have is pretty low wattage. There's 2 AC ports here, and you just click the button to turn it on. Currently got it on because the light that's shutting down this is running from this cord. Then there's the USB ports and the 12-volt port, and this is the input port. So like down on this one, input's coming in here. So this was the one that I initially got. This was my first one. This one was brand new. I got this one and the single solar panel as a package deal, brand new. For my initial solar purchase. Like I said, this is what's so great about this solar, because you can just do it a little bit at a time. You don't have to go all at once. But even just having one of these, that's 400 watts of electric that you don't have to pay for, as long as you keep it charged. So, you know, it can make a dent in your electric bill. And then later, they had an open box sale, which was used gear. So I got this one, this 400, and the double solar panel. So I got those as a package deal for less than I got this box and the single solar panel. So I got a double solar panel in this box for less than I got the first box and the first solar panel. So the used gear sale was really cool. And this one, even though it's used, you can hardly tell. I mean, there's like just a little bit of scratched paint here. I mean, that was really the only way you could even remotely tell that it was used. It was really, really good shape. I think the battery in this one is still really good, because I don't notice this one draining any faster than this one, and this was the brand new one, so they both do pretty good. And then over on the side, they have the Anderson draining port, so you can hook these two together so they'll act as one. I actually just ordered a cord to do that, so that it'll be like one solid 800 block, so that I don't have to charge them singly anymore. But again, I did solar slowly because that was what I could afford to do at the time. So you know, did my one, and then when I saved up a little more, got another one and 2 more solar panels. And then eventually I saved up enough to get the big boy here. This is one that I needed because it's the 1250, and I needed it to be able to run my hot plate, because the hot plate was too much for the 2 little ones. It would knock them out because the surge was too much. They couldn't supply it with that much wattage, so I needed the big one for this. I got this at an open box sale again. It was a used one. This one, the battery is definitely getting close to spent, but that's okay, because I needed the box, is basically what I needed. I needed the box that would have enough power to supply my hot plate. So even though the battery is going, as long as I got the input plugged in, I can use this and it will heat up my hot plate, and the power going in keeps it running. So even though there's not a lot of actual storage capacity in this battery because it's spent, I can use it as the run through. So the power goes in and comes out to my hot plate, and that was really what I needed for that anyway. And then when I save up enough, I will get a replacement battery for this. They're not too bad, and even though I have to buy the replacement battery for it, it was still actually, even with the replacement battery, it's still cheaper than buying it brand new. So I'm not sorry that I got it used. And this one, you know, it's got the 3 AC ports, it's got the 3 USB ports, it's got the 12 volt over here and the 12 volt over here, and then there's, you know, 2 inputs here and the Anderson input. So there's a lot of power on this puppy, on the big one. And the way I can tell that the battery is spent, yeah. Okay, it's like totally not charged right now, I can't even turn it on. But the battery drains really, really fast, and then it charges up really, really fast. So that's how you can tell the battery is spent. But like I say, as long as I have power coming in, I can have power coming out. And I can power a regular vacuum with this, which is like, I don't know, like 1100 watts to run a regular vacuum. It will power that. And it does my hot plate, which is like 900 watts, I think. So altogether, between the 3 of them, there's about 200 watts there, and that will power pretty much everything I need to use. I do my video camera, my computer, my glue gun, my Dremel, my cell phone, my Kindle, my sewing machine, my radio, my record player, fan, my driver drill, crock pot. Obviously this one will do the hot plate. That'll also do my heat gun. See what else does it do? Pretty much everything that I need to use. It'll even do like a little 12 volt fridge. Even the little one here will do like a little 12 volt fridge, because they run between like 50 and 100 watts depending on the size you get. So that's pretty cool. Keep stuff cold, running it off solar. And of course it powers all of my lights. And so all of my lamps have these like super low watt bulbs. They're LEDs, but they're colored to look like old-fashioned incandescents, which is great. So like right now I am running what is equal to a 100 watt bulb, but it's only costing me 25 watts. So that's how I measure everything in my life now, is when there's something coming into my house, it's not how much does it cost, it's how many watts does it take, which my cousin constantly makes fun of me for. And so the big one, this is actually the roll cart for the big one. So you can see the wheels down here, because the big one is so heavy that it's hard to move without the roll cart. It can be done, I can pick it up, but you know, it's pretty heavy. Like these little guys are only about 50 pounds, so you can carry them with one hand, but this one you definitely need 2 hands and sometimes 2 people, because it's pretty heavy. So the cart is really nice because that comes with it, and then you can just, you know, take it, roll it around wherever you need it to go. And so then at some point here, I do want to get some additional batteries. The internal batteries themselves are actually a lot cheaper than getting the full power box, and I've got enough boxes because I've got all the ports that I need, all the AC, all the USB, and the 12 volt. I got all the ports that I need to run these, but I would like a little more power. I can get by on what I got if I'm careful, but I'd like to not have to be so careful, so I can, you know, turn on more stuff at once without having to worry about, you know, whether the sun's going to shine the next day or whatever. You know, I want to just have a little more power. So I'll get a few more batteries, and then you can actually just hook the batteries right to the boxes, you know, without needing the full box. And the batteries are pretty cheap. They just had a sale, and I think the batteries were like 75 bucks a piece or something, so not bad at all. And so these things pay for themselves pretty quick. Like right now I am totally off the grid. These are not connected to any electrical source at all, so I have a $0 a month electric bill, which is totally awesome. But even if you're not going totally off the grid, you know, if you go slowly like I did, just getting a few slowly to transfer your power over to solar, it saves you money because you're not using regular electricity. So anything you use with this is stuff that you're not draining your regular electric for, and therefore you're saving on your electric bill. So yeah, they pay for themselves pretty quick. Plus, it's really cool, if the power goes out, you don't have to worry about it because you got your backup power source. So yeah, that is my solar setup. I got my first box in 2017, and I have been hooked on it ever since, slowly adding to it till I had enough to use for everything. And like I say, what I love about it so much is how easy it is to do. You know, the boxes and the solar panels, you just plug them in, and then you've got power, and you can run extension cords around like I did, or if you want something a little more permanent, a little more fancy, you can get, they do have a connection so you can connect it right into the circuits in your house. I believe you do need an electrician for that, so you can't DIY that unless you're really good at electricity, and then you can obviously, but if you're not, then definitely get the electrician. But I like doing it this way because I can just do it myself, don't need the electrician, just have my extension cords, and then just turn the boxes on and off. when I want to turn on or off my electricity, and then, you know, click on all my light switches and all that. So if you're inspired to get a few solar panels and boxes yourself, check the links in the description below, and I link to everything that I've got here, and I'll link to those really low watt bulbs too, because they're nice, because they look just like the old-fashioned nice warm glowy ones, not that cold 5,000 Kelvin look. And even though there is an initial investment, these things pay themselves off really quickly with all the electric that you're saving. As long as you keep your batteries charged, you get a lot of electric that you can save on. And if you get enough to go totally off the grid, then you end up with a $0 electric bill. And you gotta love a $0 electric bill. And it's good for the planet.